Hello and welcome back. So I just had a very new experience that I am going to share within this reading. I was within meditation and this reading came to me. I was led and guided on which decks to use for this reading, what the topic was, how to lay out the cards, and how to structure the reading. What I was not given any information on is what was going to come out in this reading at all. So this is going to be my first collective reading. This reading will still be timeless, but I was called to do this reading for the collective. I was told that there's a lot of people who need to see this reading, that it touches on an aspect a lot of us, myself included, are dealing with and going through right now. And this is how Spirit wants me to structure it. So the topic today of this collective reading, it's not a pick-up pile. It's my first collective. I'm a little nervous, pretty excited. I can't wait to see what's going to come out. To receive how to do a reading in a meditation is a new experience for me. So I'm so excited to explore this. Our topic is a topic of separation. So for a lot of us, we experience separation within our relationships, whether it be romantic, with our family, with our children, with our friends, misunderstanding with coworkers, an all-pervasive sense of separation. Spirit wants me to approach this topic from a spiritual viewpoint, from a viewpoint of going within, from healing the topic of separation within ourselves. And once we heal that, or begin to heal that, and begin to make changes within ourselves in the topic of separation, we will then begin to create unity, oneness, and wholeness in all of our relationships in our outer world. So your personal state of separation in regards to other people in your life at the moment is all inclusive in this reading. Whether you are single, dating, talking stages, dating stages, new relationship, established relationship, with your soulmate, with your twin flame, in a marriage, with a karmic, whatever your situation, this reading, I was told, is relevant for all of us. Anyone who has any issue of separation in their lives, which I think is all of us, unless you're really advanced and experience all others as oneness and wholeness. If you're anything less than that at all times, this reading will have something for you. So the first thing I was led to do, I wanted to talk to you one more thing about how this reading is going to be set up. So I've shown which decks to use and how to set them up. What I'm going to do is first I will shuffle and lay out the cards on camera, and then I'll flip them over and read out the cards, but then I'm going to pause the video, look at the cards that have been laid out, do research if needed. I really want to put a lot of time and effort into the quality of this message. I have never received a reading through meditation before, so I really want to put my time and thought into this and present something cohesive for you. So I will lay the cards out, flip them over, we'll get to look at them first. Then I'm just going to pause the video, do my research, get impressions, make the connections, read the cards. I will unpause the video and then we'll explore it. And then I will do the same for the next set of oracle cards. I have no idea how long this reading is going to be, but I'm guessing, due to the layout I saw, during my meditation. It's probably going to be pretty long. So maybe grab a snack or some tea or your favorite beverage. So the first card that I was going to put down was going to be one card from the Sacred Geometry deck. And I was shuffling and grabbing that card, and oh, two fell out. And it's already amazing. I mean, this reading is already starting amazing. So these are the two that came out. I didn't shuffle these on camera. I shuffled them before I hit record, and then when I saw what came out, I said, okay, I need to start the recording right now because stuff is already going down here. So we have the triangle card number 10, and we have the together card number 47. I will pause the video, get more into it, get more messages, and continue talking, but right away I want to let you know that this triangle card is looking at situations from 3 perspectives, reminiscent of the Holy Trinity. It does not matter religion, it's the concept that they're talking about, that this card is talking about. And it signifies progression along the path, along our path. So it's already talking about a progression of our journey, and our topic is separation. And then the other card that came out is the card together, which signifies a balance within. So we're already starting on these crazy synchronicities. So I'm excited. You can probably hear it. I'm super excited. I will be right back. I want to get into the book. I don't want to just read the book to you. I want to really get into the meaning of the cards, allow intuitive hits to come forward, do my job as a reader by making the connections and presenting you with the cohesive information rather than just reading you the book. So allow me to do that. I'll pause the video and I will be right back. Okay, so I have done some digging, read the information, and allowed more messages to come through. And now I really want to share with you what has come out in just the first 2 cards, which is absolutely amazing. So I do feel that this reading is going to be a mini crash course on healing some imbalances in terms of separation and balancing energies within ourselves to then create union, unity, and wholeness in our relationships in the world. So with this triangle card, it does speak of the concept of the Trinity. The words that the book uses is things like beginning, middle, end, mother, father, child, mind, body, spirit. So it's a cosmic Trinity. There's so many, as we know, so many instances of trinities and threes being used in spiritual topics. So this triangle card talks about accessing our lower selves through Mother Earth, our individual and collective quest to know our middle selves through our physical body, and also our access to our higher selves with spirit. This card calls us to bring to balance our body, mind, and spirit in wholeness. This card itself suggests our movement towards strength and completion of this goal. It calls us to act in accordance with what assists us in our purpose. So, with this card in this reading, it's very appropriate when we're talking about healing our sense of separation from within so that we can see the results working in our lives, so that we see union in our lives with less separation in all ways, in whatever your situation, in all situations. We're healing that within ourselves to create balanced union with others. So it's calling us to act in accordance with that. So we have to approach both ourselves and all of our relationships, if we want unity, to act in ways that promote unity. That sounds really simple, but in practice it can be quite challenging when we let things such as our egos, doubt, worry, fear, wounds, abandonment wounds, other wounds, inner child wounds, they all come up. And we think that we are protecting ourselves, but really what we're doing is creating separation within our world. So that needs to be healed within ourselves, myself included, before we see this unity in our relationships. And then we have the card of together, the card of balance. This card, the card's intent is balancing male and female aspects. Remember, it doesn't matter your gender, and it also doesn't matter the gender of the person that you're wanting and intending to connect with. The male and female aspects of ourselves and each person. Every single person has both, regardless of gender. So balancing those aspects. When those aspects become balanced, we begin to co-create together. So it starts, because this reading is about healing our separation from within, it starts with balancing those aspects within ourselves. And then we will begin to create from that wholeness, from that greater sense of wholeness and unity within. It will allow us to act in ways that do assist our intention of unity with others. This card talks about all relationships, any relationship, being a balance of respect and understanding. That includes our relationship with ourselves. We must respect and understand ourselves so that we may respect and understand another. So again, we start within to create greater unity within our outer relationships. This card reminds us that the longer an imbalance continues, the greater challenge it is to bring it back into balance, to regain equilibrium. If I could talk, I'm so excited I can't talk. To regain equilibrium. So if you have been out of balance within yourself for a long period, this may take a little while to fully and wholly regain balance within yourself. And if you have been out of balance in your outer relationships with others for a while, remember that it may take a little time to completely return to balance. And that's okay. Allow it to happen. This is a process. This isn't something that's instant. And I don't want to limit myself or others. If this becomes instant and you have this wonderful experience of instant unity and wholeness, that's wonderful. Go with it. Congratulations. For the rest of us, we'll give ourselves patience to allow this to unfold. So this card of together does talk about our movement towards correcting any inequalities and correcting any misunderstandings as quickly as possible. I want to throw out the gentle reminder that as quickly as possible doesn't necessarily mean that we need to act with an extreme sense of urgency. Just begin to correct now and allow things to unfold. That we will need to take action, but not to force results on others. That can be a very intrusive energy. But you can begin within yourself, and you will begin to see that attitude and healing reflected within your world. Okay, so that is what I have for you for the first two cards. I want to continue moving on with this reading. And this is the next deck I was called to use. I was even told what order to use the decks in and how to set them up. And I would just like for you to see me shuffling, as terrible as my shuffling process is on camera. especially with these cards because they're so oddly shaped, just to create transparency within the reading. When I pre-shuffle and lay out cards, I guess it's just important for me to know that, you know, I am not contriving anything, just creating transparency. I mean, I guess if it resonates, it resonates, but it just feels a little more authentic. However, if you do not enjoy the shuffling process and have no problem with me just laying out the cards and talking about them, that's fine too. Let me know in comments. Some people really like to see the shuffling process. Other people do not care at all. So I guess when these synchronicities come out, it's so validating to have seen me shuffle and pull the cards on camera, I guess. I'm also somebody who really enjoys watching readers shuffle, even when they do it terrible. One of my favorite readers is like the worst shuffler ever. It's so hilarious, but she also enjoys shuffling on camera, and I love watching her. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Some of the readers that I watch, I know which ones shuffle on camera and which ones don't, and I personally don't care if people shuffle on camera or not, but sometimes I find it really relaxing, and I'll fall asleep to the sound of them shuffling, which is just hilarious. Okay, so I'm hoping that this layout will all fit on camera. I actually doubt that it will, but I will show you all the cards as we go through them if you can't see them. So just a few more shuffles of this deck, which is pretty awkward but fun. And then I'll lay the card out. Now these layouts for the first two oracle decks, actually the second two, because the Sacred Geometry was the first deck, but these next two, the layouts were inspired by Sacred Geometry symbols. They aren't quite the symbols, but they are inspired by them, which I thought was so cool, because as I said, this all came to me in a meditation. So it's already very clear to my spirit guides what I'm about to do and how I'm about to do it. So I'm trusting for all the right cards that we need to see today to come out. And I feel like I have no idea where this reading is going to go, but we're off to a really good start. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck and start laying out cards. Oh. Okay. Isn't all going to fit on the desk. It will, but you won't be able to see it all, but I will make sure to move things around so that you can see it all. Move this guy just to the side. Okay. Oh, and look, we got an extra card here. Okay, well, I'll take it. I'm going to take these two cards together and put them here. Okay, let me see what you guys can see. All right, so let's start flipping over cards. We started in the center, and then we're going to go around. I'm going to show you all the cards and then pause, because all of these cards have so much information in each one, so I really want to get a good look at everything. So we have Winter, Sun. I saw that card as I was preparing for the reading, and I was like, oh, I hope that card comes out. Moon, Sun and Moon. Oh my goodness. So opposites balancing, gold, beautiful. I'm not taking reversals. Quicksilver. Quicksilver is a card I get in my personal readings for myself all the time. Coagulation. And then these two cards that came out together, I have Pluto and Benevolent Guide. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, this is a lot of information. I'm going to pause. I just wanted you to see the cards that came out as they came out. I'm going to pause, dig into all these meanings, start putting the pieces together, and then I'll be right back and we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is telling us quite the story and providing lots of transformational energies. This is incredible. I want to say, first of all, that anyone who is listening to or watching this reading, I think you're amazing, because these energies coming out are so beautiful, and I feel like they're very advanced towards our journey, and I include myself as a journeyman. They're really allowing us to progress on a collective and as well as personal journey towards a much greater awakened lifestyle. So to those of you exploring this topic of healing the separation from within, I want to say thank you for the positive way you are showing up in the world right now. As I look at, from my own perspective, which is limited because I'm only one person, but as I look at people creating relationships and going through periods of separation and the pain and hurt it can cause inside, to approach this topic by healing ourselves first and then going out into the world, that's one of the things that heals everybody. So I'm just want to pause and say I'm grateful to you for doing inner work, even if it's just considering it, even if it's just dabbling it, or if you're really sticking your hands in there and getting all mucked up with the juiciness of spirit. Thank you. Thank you for making this world a better place. Now that I've gotten all mushy and gushy, let's explore these cards. They're quite incredible, and they tell a story of collective and personal transformation. We start with the Winter card. What I love about this card coming out first, in the way I felt directed to lay out the cards, is that in this alchemy deck, this is the first season that the alchemist encounters. So I feel that we, the collective, in this video, are being led through the progression by starting at the beginning. That doesn't mean that we don't know anything, or that's not bad. We're going to be led on a journey, and Spirit wants us to have a clear, solid foundation. So thank you, Spirit, because having that clear, solid foundation is going to allow us to grow so much further. So with the Winter card, we're starting at the beginning. We're starting at the first season, the season of turning inward. This is the place where our mind and heart settles into a quiet space. So also, what I love about this card is it specifically says, don't get caught up in gloom or isolation. So I'm willing to bet that, like myself, if you're exploring this topic, you have at least at one time in your life, if not currently, experienced separation, which you would prefer to heal and grow away from, right? We desire unity, wholeness, connectedness. At least I do. So I'm assuming that if you're here, you do at least sometimes also. So I love that it encourages us, it comforts us by saying there's no need to get caught up in any gloom or feelings of isolation during this winter. That there is this sacred light here inherent in the winter that we can look towards. We can trust that divine and magic is working within our lives. this current time at the beginning is a time to pause and reflect, to go within. It's not a time for doing outwardly, which I'm not trying to tell you not to do anything outwardly, but within this reading, it's starting us at the beginning. So Spirit is saying, here we are at the beginning, reflecting inwardly about healing separation within ourselves. So that's so appropriate to start us on the journey through this oracle story. Our next card, remember, we're going to move up and around. So our next card is the Sun, which is a card literally of activation that says we, myself and everyone listening and watching this video, are now going through an activation, a new beginning. The Sun card positively influences all other cards within the reading. This is our opportunity to gain a fully clear vision. The train's going by. If you've watched my videos, when the train goes by, I highlight what's happening in the reading in the moment. So we're talking about this beautiful Sun card. How wonderful is it that the train went by during the Sun card? It's awesome. We're talking about gaining clarity, full and complete clarity about ourselves. Gain clear vision. The Sun card asks the question, is it time to awaken more fully or to rest? So that's something each of us in this video can ask ourselves. What is the current position of the Sun in our lives? Do we need to awaken or soften? And this is a call to heal our separation within, to see our separation beliefs, feelings, emotions within ourselves, and gain clarity on this topic in our lives. I love that the moon came out next. It's so beautiful. You may have seen me shuffle these cards horribly on camera, but these cards are shuffled every day thoroughly. I have laid them out, I have cut them. I mean, these are cards that I use on a near daily basis. They have been used so many times. So for the Sun and Moon to come out next to each other in no way indicates that I did not shuffle well. These cards are completely shuffled, I can assure you. And yet the Sun and the Moon came out next to each other, and we are talking about healing separation, bringing balance into our lives. And here are masculine and feminine, which we're balancing within ourselves, coming out next to each other, touching. How beautiful is that? It's so beautiful. So where the Sun is clarity and masculine, the Moon is very full of mysteries and feminine. This card also talks about the cycles that happen within our lives, the impermanence of things, and how everything is always in transition. The Moon card offers us the invitation to constantly let go, a card of surrendering and letting go, a card of the invitation to be patient within ourselves with the topic of separation. The card initiating us into new depths of spiritual practice. So far, we have begun at the first season of winter with this need to be still within and look to the sacred light. And then we have the Sun shining brightly, activating us. And next we have this Moon card allowing us to release, to let go, to reach new depths. We move right into the Gold card here. This card in this deck is not talking about the actual metal of gold that we make jewelry out of. This card is talking about the gold that is deep within each of us. It comes by many names. One of them is the gold of the wise. So this card comes out when we are currently seeking the mysterious essence within ourselves. The card asks the question, how will we recognize it when we see it? And the answer that this deck provides is that it will mimic the quality of the physical metal, which is, my cat's here. Whenever my cat shows up, I take it as a sign that my pile, or as we are in the moment, collective, needs just a little bit of extra love and care. So my cat Nymphadora is offering her love, care, and support to each one of you in this moment. Okay, so we can recognize the gold within ourselves by it mimicking the metal, radiant and soft, pliable. Gold is a relatively soft metal as compared to, say, steel, iron. I'm not sure how strong nickel is, but I'm willing to bet it's stronger than gold. But if you've ever worked with the metal of gold, it's bendy. It also says that we can recognize the gold within us by mimicking the quality of the sun. Clarity, illuminated. This card tells us that something of incredible value is at hand, that the quality within us is valuable and rare. It cautions us not to immediately think of the physical. So anyone who's listening to this reading knows that we are talking about healing the separation within first and foremost. We're going to see more about that later. So before we see this in our outward relationships, we need to focus, really hone in on healing that within us. So the next card we have, I'm just going to pick it up so that you can see because I know the camera cut it off, is Quicksilver. The qualities of this material are mesmerizing, it says, not easily defined, part liquid and part metal. This card of Quicksilver represents the transition between the physical and the unseen, which is gorgeous because it goes great with this Together card. It also goes well with this Triangle card. Quicksilver is balancing those qualities. Yes, the Triangle is balancing the three qualities. The Quicksilver is balancing opposing forces, guys. So some aspects that the Quicksilver balances are things seen and unseen, physical and unseen, life and death, science and esoteric. This card also talks about this being a sacred doorway. This tells us that we have the unique ability to stand at doorways in between worlds. So here we are in this reading, exploring, healing the separation within ourselves. We are standing at the doorway of balancing our opposites within, creating that equilibrium within ourselves that this Together card talked about. It's calling all of us to pay attention to this doorway, that we have this gift, we have this ability, now we use it to balance within ourselves. I love this card of coagulation. I want to make sure you can see it. This reminds me of an intertwined nest here. So we have the process of coagulation next, which is beautiful and so gorgeous. This is the process by which fluid changes to solid. The ingredients begin to coagulate and adhere into one state. Now, what I love about this is here we are healing our separation. We're talking about balancing our inner forces, and here we are doing that work and achieving that sense of wholeness and oneness within ourselves, to where we balance to the point where it literally becomes one. And it's absolutely beautiful. This card tells us that the results of this will be visible, reliable, and concrete. So to me, this is telling me that by doing this work within ourselves, we will indeed begin to see this in our outer world. Remember that there's a need for patience. There's a need for allowing time for this process to unfold. These alchemical processes are usually not instant. Again, I'm not limiting myself or others. If you achieve this instantly, celebrate. Let's not limit ourselves. But for most of us, for some of us, perhaps, this may take a little time. So use patience during this time of transition. This card of coagulation also comes with a little bit of advice to it. It wants us to use full awareness during this process. As we unite these aspects within ourselves, do so with intention and awareness. And the reason why is it tells us this process done without awareness can lead to relationships where one or both people do not feel fully seen and heard, where the relationship can become stuck or unloving, full of inertia. So we want to approach ourselves in full awareness and allow the pieces of ourselves to unite with awareness. When we do this, we then enter into our relationships out in the world with awareness and creating these very strong relationships, merging with another. It says the true goal of coagulation is merging with another without losing oneself. So to use full awareness during this process to have long-lasting, very stable, visible, tangible results. Next, we go into this card of Pluto. Pluto is a deep power. It's a very powerful energy. It's the planet of the underworld. So we have gone within and looked to the sacred light. We have had the sunshine on us, calling us to awaken. We have surrendered. We have the gold card. We have looked to our inner mysteries. With the Quicksilver card, we have begun the process of transition, and with coagulation, we have begun with awareness, unifying those parts within us. Now the Pluto card is dragging us into the underworld. It's a motorcycle going by. So when the motorcycle goes by, I think of things happening quickly. I incorporate all my outside sounds into my readings. If you've watched my other videos, you've heard me do it. I feel that this energy is just going to grab us and pull us into the underworld. This can be a bit scary. This is a volatile energy, and everything that happens during that time is amplified. So it's going to feel quite scary. The reason Pluto enters into our energy during this process is to teach us, to push us towards the growth that is absolutely necessary. We are absolutely taken to the very depths so that we may change. So this card tells us that we need to admit if we need support during this time, because this is going to be potentially, again, why limit us or make it harder than it has to be? But this is potentially a time of huge change, growth, and transition. We may be shown our shadow self. We may come up against our wounds. We may come up against our limiting beliefs in order that they may be healed and changed. But that process can sometimes be really uncomfortable. So this card says to admit if we need help with this phase of the transition for us. It also tells us that while we're going through it, if we can somehow manage just to not make it worse, that's a huge accomplishment. I kind of chuckle at that part, but there's something to be said. I also like how its position is really, I love how it's next to the sun. I feel like its effects are somewhat lessened by touching the sun. Being right next to it is gorgeous. And then I love that the benevolent guide card hitched a ride right under Pluto and came out underneath. So I feel that even for those of us who need to undergo this difficult transition, we have this card just literally attached to that process for us to help to assist and guide us along. The benevolent guide card says at times we may feel alone, we may doubt, we may forget that we're a spiritual being, we may forget that our inherent self is wholeness and oneness, we may be feeling disarray or discontent. But the whole time we're undergoing that process, especially the process of Pluto, that guide is gently waiting there, encouraging us with kindness. This card in particular asks us to remember any guidance that we have received in the past at important times. So this I really like also because this is a collective reading. So each one of us, as we go through challenging times, can remember, can think back to the specific guidance that has helped you during important times in your life and use that guidance again. So that's very personalized because most of us have not received the same guidance. It wants us to know that the benevolent guide's presence is constant and unconditional. So we do not need to do anything to receive or deserve this support, encouragement, and guidance. It's always there for us. And that we are reminded that at this time we do not need to struggle or to fear. So that's a beautiful amount of encouragement and support as we travel through any Pluto energies along our journey. Okay, so that was beautiful. So what's going to happen next is I am going to pause the video, put these cards just to the side because I don't want to forget that they were here, grab the next oracle, and then I will shuffle and lay out the cards on camera. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have those cards just put to the side just to make some room, and I'm going to shuffle the archetype deck and lay them out, and then just continue on with the process. And I'm a little bit in awe that I am doing this reading based off of a meditation. It's mind-boggling to me. I would love to hear in comments what you think about this reading, the setup, the layout, anything you would like to share, really, anything at all would be so helpful for me to hear. I mean, I kind of like it. It's beautiful. I guess I'm just questioning it a little bit. I certainly hope that it's giving everyone something to think about, maybe consider things in a new way. Healing our separation from within so that we create unified relationships in our lives. Okay. So, I feel like it's not quite ready yet. But almost. Using trust. Healing separation. Okay. Uh-oh. I want bottom of the deck in the center. And then if it makes it so that you can't see all the cards, I'll remember to show them to you at some point in the reading. Because I know that I have limited space. Okay. So this is probably going to be a long reading, but we'll get through it. Don't forget that option to speed up the reading is always there for you if you would like. I'm going to go in the same order. Center, up, and around. No reversals. The vow. The underworld. Some more Pluto energy, I think. The orphan. The unseen. I'm sorry I bumped the camera. The bridge. Beautiful. I love the bridge card. The storm. And the prayer. Okay. I'm seeing a pretty good mix of challenging as well as supporting energies. So, whew, this is going to be okay. Remember that we're here to support each other. Okay, because some of these look like they have potential challenges for us to get through. Remember that the energy of Pluto might throw us into a little bit of shadow work. We are here to heal from within. So we may in fact come up against a few challenging energies with this. That's okay. We'll take it together with support, encouragement, with love. I will be right back and we'll get right into it. Okay, I'm back, and I am wondering if anyone's going to watch this video, because this is not for the faint of heart. We're going to get into it, but first I want to just offer this suggestion to all the viewers. We do have shadow issues and wound issues coming up in this group of cards. So I would just like everybody who is listening and watching to first consider activities that you personally enjoy doing to raise your vibration, to experience joy when you are going through something painful, something that cheers you up. I actually have a previous video about getting cheered up. So maybe that will be helpful. But besides that, think of something that you personally enjoy doing that lifts you up no matter how bad you're feeling, just in case any of these cards become triggering for you. Like, I feel that you're here because you're ready, you're strong enough. I know that you're strong enough, but it's up to you to create and foster those positive activities within yourself. So some suggestions: I like taking a bath with salt, coloring sometimes, putting on a funny show or a movie, cuddling with my dog and cat, playing with my dog, eating a healthy snack. If I'm being honest, I like to eat cake. That's not healthy, but you know what? Okay. What other things do I like to do? Taking a walk. Other things: calling a trusted friend that I can talk to. If you have trusted groups messaging groups, friends you can message or text, someone you can call if things get challenging and you really want to reach out. There is meditation. That's something that I'm hugely into. If I'm really having a tough time, for me, meditating and going within is like the ultimate comfort. A cup of tea. I have tea. I love tea. A beverage of your choice. I'm suggesting not alcohol for those of us old enough to have alcohol. Something healthier, something cleansing, hydrating, eating healthy foods. But whatever it is for you, you have your own things. Something, if anything should be triggering in this shadow work, I just want you to have a plan so that you don't wallow in wounds, because I do care about you, and I admire you for even being willing to look at this topic. Really, most people won't. If you're watching this, if you're hanging here with me, you're rare, you're unique, you're incredible, you're a unique and needed value to this world. You're making this world better. Because I don't mean by being here and listening to me, I mean by being willing to explore these topics. It's not something most people are willing to do. And I get it, it's not easy. It's specifically not easy. So acknowledging yourself can be one thing that you could do to cheer yourself up. Gratitude practice, even if you're feeling down in the moment, there's always something to be grateful for. If you have a roof over your head, if you have a device to watch this video, if there's air you can breathe, there's something to be grateful for. So practicing those positive activities, because these energies, I'm just going to be honest, are challenging. They're challenging for me, so I'm just going to assume that they're challenging for some of you. The other thing I'd like to tell you is we are specifically talking about separation, but we need to remember that separation is an illusion. We are not separate. We are all connected. So I want to remind you that you are not alone. You're not alone. And thank goodness we have a card here that specifically tells us that we're not alone. Amidst these challenging energies, we have cards that are coming here specifically to honor, support, and encourage us. So you're not alone. Yes, I realize you might be here because you're experiencing separation in your outer world and you're healing it from within to make changes in your relationships. I'm here too for that reason. But the separation is the illusion that we're healing together. I love how Spirit guided me to make this a collective video, not a pick a card, so we can truly feel that we are all here listening together, because we are. We are not separate. That's the illusion. That's what we're healing here. Okay, if you still are brave enough and want to continue on, let's get right into it. We're starting here in the center with the vow, and I really like how this card has made itself in the center of our circle here today. This is the card of promise, oath, and contract. When the vow is spoken, karmic ties are formed. If I could speak, that would be excellent. Words, as I talk about speaking, words and intentions have immense power. I actually have a pair of socks that say words have power, and I wear them on special occasions. Yeah, I realize they're not typical special occasion socks, but they actually are. Words have power. So I want to remind ourselves that we are here healing the separation within us. So we may need to think about any vows that we are making within ourselves about separation. And this card does call us to acknowledge any vows we are living by, whether consciously or unconsciously. It kind of reminds me of what we talked about the coagulation card. coagulation through awareness. The vow card wants us to be aware and acknowledge any agreements and vows that we have made to ourselves and others. It's challenging us to identify them and examine them. It also asks us to either recommit the vows to ourselves or to create a specialized ritual of closure with these vows if we need to end them. This card talks about that when we make a vow, it activates eternal and unseen forces. This card tells us that when we make a vow, consciously or unconsciously, ancestors bear witness to our vows, and the very laws of nature respond, because these are our intentions. Our vows are our intentions. So when we make them, everything responds to it. Our vows cannot be unsaid or taken back. Once they're out there, they're out there. They can be recommitted or ended, but it's not something you can take back. This card specifically tells us that we have been underestimating the power of our promises. So we're called to specifically look at that. And this card has been placed in the center of this oracle reading. So through all these other cards, that's a topic that we may need to examine in each one of them. We need to come into awareness of our words, our promises, our intentions, and our vows that we've made to ourselves and others. We need to realize the power that these vows contain. We've been taking it insincerely. We need to bring back the importance, the powerfulness, the awareness of promises. Okay, we move into the underworld, which is giving me that very Pluto energy. And this is where we start. Well, really, we've already started, but this is where we continue into some of that really deep shadow work. This is where we deepen the amount that we face our fears and our hidden beliefs, our hidden thoughts, some of our hidden wounds. This card is very blunt in this deck, and I'm just throwing that out there. This card does not sugarcoat anything. This card specifically says nightmares, suffering, and pain. This is not a card of sugarcoating things. This is challenging energy. This card represents the absolute darkest part of our shadow. This card represents whatever is hidden in our subconscious or unconscious, the thing that we avoid at all costs. What is the wound that you will avoid at all costs? In order for us to heal the separation within ourselves, to see it in our outer world, this is the wound that needs to be healed. It's closely related to this orphan card coming up. To heal our separation within ourselves, anyone who's resonating with this reading, myself absolutely, needs to address this wound. And we have been doing anything we can to not look at it. And I'm giving you so much support because I'm right there with you. I have recently come into contact and brushed right against this wound, and wow, was it powerful, and wow, did it hurt. So it's there. This card tells us that trying to deny the deep, dark shadow that is within us, trying to cover it up, trying to deny it, trying to do anything to avoid it, that's what gives it so much power. We know that when we try to avoid something, it's just as bad as focusing on it. It almost is constantly focusing on it by trying to avoid it, if that's making sense. This card calls us to summon within ourselves all of our inner strength to come up against it. Now, this is why at the beginning of this oracle portion, I'm calling you to think of things you enjoy, a trusted friend, meditation practice, because going up against this wound is not for the faint of heart. If you need assistance and counseling, reach out to a counselor. If you don't want to do this work alone, don't do it alone. There's no reason you should have to go through this alone. There's so many resources available. Yes, I realize they cost money, but if your intention is to heal that wound, the right person will come along to you. The right help that's needed will come to you. So don't start this work until you're ready. You can listen to this and the wound, it will still be there. If you need a counselor, if you need counseling, reach out to one. If you feel like you don't have the resource right now, maybe reach out to people that you know and say, hey, I'm looking for a counselor, but I need, help finding one within my means, or whatever the right way or the right thing happening for you is, and find one. So, because if you don't want to do this alone, don't do it alone. If you're comfortable addressing your shadow work, if you've done shadow work before, if you have addressed beliefs before, if you have addressed wounds before, and you feel confident and comfortable in your ability to do so, then do so at your own pace. Okay, now that that's out of the way, this card also tells us that facing this darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. This is why I'm wondering, is anyone gonna watch this video? Is anyone still watching? Because if you are still watching and you're saying, ooh, yes, that's what I need to do, you are one of the few. You're rare, you're unique, you are so special. I think you probably already know. I mean, you must already know how rare, unique, and beautiful and precious you are to look at your wounds and not live your life this way anymore. Okay, so I'm getting gushy. I'm not someone who easily expresses emotions, and I have so much love and respect and admiration for you. I just want you to know that. We're moving on to the orphan. The orphan, I'm laughing because when I encounter challenging energies, I laugh. This happened to me in another video, and I was very concerned that people would think that I was uncaring, because here I am chuckling at these really, really difficult energies, and it's because my body needs to release some of this pained energy, and it comes out through laughter. So I just want you to know that. Okay, the orphan, wounded child, the abandoned, the beggar. The good thing about this card is that this card does tell us we are not alone, that this wound of the orphan is a collective phenomenon that's happening right now in our world. So this energy can create the illusion that we're alone, but that's the illusion. The separation is the illusion. Still, however, there are so many of us feeling like the orphan right now. This card tells us that we are currently in a time of universal orphanage, that we are all feeling this orphan energy in a multitude of ways. We're not alone. We all share part of this wound. So this card specifically makes us feel separated and isolated, but that is the illusion. We are all connected. It's important for you to know that, to get through that challenging energy. This card asks us to take real time. It may require patience for us, but when you are feeling ready, when you personally, who are watching this video, when you're personally ready, this card calls you to take time to be present in the face of the feelings of the orphan card and of the orphan energies. This card tells us that the parts of us that have been rejected are the parts of us that are most needed. I have chills and I'm trying not to cry. I want you to know, listeners, watchers, I'm here with you. You're not alone. It's very important to me that you understand that. And thank goodness, I'm so grateful that this card, The Unseen, comes out next. It's so important and beautiful that we have some of these beautiful cards come out to support and encourage us. The card of the Unseen, to me, I most closely identify this as a card of spirit, but you can decide for yourself how the unseen manifests for you. The card of the Unseen wants us to know that even if we do not see it, it sees us. The card of the Unseen is always watching and waiting with kind and instructive wisdom. So a very loving, wise presence that is always kind and offers guidance. The card of the Unseen, we feel its presence. We may notice its presence through things like dreams, insights, visions, messages from loved ones, and I add personally, although this isn't in the book, I add synchronicities. I'm someone who loves synchronicities, so I absolutely receive acknowledgement of the unseen through synchronicities. This is a card letting you know that your guides are near and close to you. You're not alone. This card is a gift. This card says you are being graced by the unseen. Okay, we are coming in next with the card of the Bridge. Let me show it to you so you can see the whole thing. I love the colors in this card. It's great that we have such a beautiful card. It looks like a rainbow over water. Okay, so we have the card of the Bridge, the connection, the link, and the gate. So it's about time, right? Because here we are trying to heal our separation with all these wounds. So thank you for the bridge, Spirit. We're ready. We're so ready. This bridge is built to connect two worlds, which is perfect because we are creating this togetherness, this wholeness within, so that we can see it without. And this bridge is going to help us connect. This bridge creates flow within our lives, and it allows us to travel between realms, which is great because our ultimate goal here is to create the separation within so much that we begin to see it in our world without, in our reality, in our relationships with others. This bridge offers a gesture of acceptance, and it says yes instead of withdrawing or separating. So this bridge opens us up to a new connection, up to a new type of connection. We're starting within ourselves, connecting our opposing forces within, healing our wounds, and creating that connection within. The bridge card literally creates new realities for us. So all the work we've already been through in this reading, we're now being offered the glimpse of a new reality. We become open to otherness and we allow healing and communication. We begin to have a sense of curiosity and wonder, and we are eager to learn. This card invites us to see the connectedness in things that appear unconnected. So we begin to make connections in places we didn't previously think were possible or connected, because we know that separation is the illusion. So that separation begins to heal. This card reminds us that our bridges must be made with love in order to have the strength to hold against other forces. And again, I'm reminded of the coagulation with awareness. So as we begin to bring balance to ourselves and create oneness and wholeness, we're asked to do this with a very high level of awareness and love. That's creating that true strength of balance and wholeness. After the bridge, we do come into the storm. The storm is very much like the Tower card in the tarot, in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. This can be a sudden change. Now, what we're doing here is healing from within. So if any connections, any bridges, any coagulations, any vows and promises that we have made to ourselves or others, now that we are beginning to change, now that the change is happening, now that we're crossing that bridge and creating new realities, the storm is here to blow and disintegrate and destroy anything that wasn't built on those firm foundations. The storm is a card of chaos, whirlwind, and disorder. It is an energy that undoes all that is. So in our case, this is an energy that is going to do anything built upon separation, where everything can be stripped away and turned around. This energy working within our lives can cause a lot of anxiety. It can cause us to not quite think straight. The advice is to wait it out. The specific advice this card offers is instead of fighting against the storm, seek temporary shelter, consult a friend, or go within. By doing these things, we can settle into the calm eye of the storm and allow this energy to pass through us. So anyone who has made significant changes within their life, especially changes that come from within, we know that when we make these very real changes from within, the things that are no longer in alignment with our new being will, in one way or another, need to be released. We can let them go gracefully, or they can be destroyed by some outside force. So this card in our reading today suggests that this topic is no different. We're healing very deep wounds within us. This card even suggests it's the deepest wound within us. This is the wound that we never wanted to look at, that we never wanted to be uncovered. We never wanted to see this. We didn't want to heal this. It's too painful. And now we're doing this work. Well, whatever wasn't built correctly is going to fall away. For some of us, that could be quite a lot. If this is a very deeply buried wound, we could have built a lot of structure to cover up that wound, right? Any structure that was built on top of it, in order to fully heal and create the new life, it needs to come tumbling down so that we can build things that are in alignment with our new being. That is not easy. That's not welcome news. It's really not. Again, let's not make it harder on ourselves than it has to be, but this is coming out for us right now. This may happen in our process. And our next card, which is the last card of this oracle grouping. Remember, we're not doing piles. This whole reading is collective, but this oracle grouping, this is the last card. It is the card of the prayer. The prayer card is the card of worship, reverence, and homage. This card offers prayer as the remedy for self-centered thinking that causes illusion. The card of prayer leads us beyond the ego. This card suggests some potential definitions of prayer. So it says, some people call prayer when we are in the state of prayer anytime we are not the center of our thoughts. So anytime our thoughts are greater than ourselves is one type of prayer. A natural state of gratitude can be one type of prayer. A state of surrender or service can be one type of prayer. I feel that for us in this reading right now, surrender, to me, and this is just me, and if you have something else that is a better option for you, then take that better option for you. This is what resonates for me personally, the state of surrender. We're going through these incredibly challenging energies. We're building a new way of being. We're behaving differently with awareness, love, awareness of our words and vows to ourselves and others. We're healing. We're allowing what no longer is in alignment with our new selves to be destroyed and fall away. Well, for me personally, I want to surrender and just let it happen. Just let it go. And that doesn't mean I'll necessarily do it with total amount of grace, but that's what sounds the path of least resistance to me. But you are your own person, and you have your own things that work for you. So you need to find your correct way of prayer. This card invites us to get quiet, low, humble, and soft. It literally or figuratively invites us to touch the ground and lift our hearts to the sky. This card says that it is time and nothing else will do. So this is acknowledgement that severe change and transformation is happening in our lives, and that we will need to rely on a higher power to help see us through this time. Okay, so I have one more oracle that I was led to use for this reading, and the good news, at least for me, is that it is all animal energies, and I personally love animal energies. They are so much more likely to be more playful. Again, I'm laughing because I could use some more playfulness right now. More playful, more loving, and easier to engage with. So I will be right back and we will pull our animal cards. Okay, I'm back. I have 2 animal decks here. We're going to get 1 card from this deck and 4 cards from this deck. And we will examine those as we heal our separation from within to create changes within our relationships. I am so grateful to have you here exploring these energies with me. I feel very blessed and honored to be your reader today, especially for this topic. I'm very grateful to you. Okay, here's our card. All right, let's grab our minis now and start closing out this reading. I would absolutely love to hear from you in comments. If you feel comfortable and safe and led to comment, I would love to hear from you. If this reading resonated with you, if you found it useful, even just leaving your favorite emoji so that I know you are present here. If you'd like to claim any of this healing energy, leaving me a heart in the comments is a beautiful way to claim this healing. I like that heart with the bandage around it. Some healing that way. Okay, 4 animal energies for us to help us heal our separation. And we're going to do the same process. We'll take a look at what cards came out, then I will pause to receive messages, and then I will come back and we'll talk about them. Cougar, assertive. And we have a Scorpion. Look at that, with some fire energy coming out. Buffalo, beautiful. Shark, my daughter's favorite. And Dolphin, my favorite. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I have bumped the camera at least twice, so I hope it is at least relatively in the same position. that it was. We are on the last leg of our journey together for this reading. I have never undertook such a reading on such a grand scale or tackled this type of inner transformation within a reading. And I have been reading tarot in one capacity or another for more than 2 decades. Okay, so when I say this is intense, I mean it. If you are still here, still watching this video, still involved in this work, I call upon you to drop in the comment section your favorite animal emoji, whether it's one that we see here or just your favorite. Let me know that you hung in here all the way to this point. And I'm so thankful that Spirit led me to do animals last, because this is absolutely the energy that we need to close out this challenging reading. The synchronicities that have been uncovered during the entirety of this reading is blowing my mind. It's so freaking cool. Even the little things, like I was called to put the prayer card on top of this pile, whereas over here I put the cards in the pile in order of this was the first card, and then I went sequentially down. I apologize for the noises of my dog in the background. And this pile, I was going to do the same thing, yet I was called very strongly to do the opposite. I even had the cards piled up in the same order as this, and then I was told, no, you need to change it. You need to put the prayer card on top. And I see why when we get into our animals, and like so many synchronicities that come out in the cards, that come out in the little things that happen. It's just amazing. So we start off with this Cougar card, and I know in the beginning of the reading I said I didn't want to just read you the cards out of the book, but upon further research I really want to read you what it says for the Cougar out of the book, because there's information that we need to come through, and I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to paraphrase it, and I don't want to make it fit. I want you to hear it as it is. So first I'll read you the card. Cougar, assertive. In silence you find power. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. Now that is beautiful, and I want to read the full description of the Cougar. It says Cougar, and in quotes, Puma. Silence, self-assurance, confidence, camouflage, cunning, courage, agility, action, artistic, observation, completion of goals. The noble cougar, also called mountain lion or puma, is a totem of courage and confidence. Cougar is a formidable protector who will teach you to observe from the shadows and see the truth in silence. Your intuition, hunches, and knowing will be enhanced by your cougar totem. You will sense threats and avoid them. You are capable of seeing and securing sanctuary and abundance. Cougar people are often leaders with keen and decisive minds. You know how to inspire others, complete tasks, and set new goals. You may not be close to a lot of people, but you are a great encourager and loving friend to your inner circle. We're going to see more of that theme a little bit in the Scorpion. If Cougar is new to your life, it means you are coming into your power. It could also mean it is time to take a leap of faith and go for your desires. Opportunities are at hand. With Cougar by your side, trains going by, so we know in my readings that means what I'm talking about and saying is highlighted. With Cougar by your side, you will know better how to set boundaries and protect your precious energy and time so you can pay attention to what really matters. With powerful Puma, you will have grace, passion, and purpose. Okay. One of the things that I love about this card coming up for us at this time is the way it says it's a formidable protector who will teach you to observe from the shadows and see the truth in silence. So much today we have talked about going into the shadows, and the Cougar card coming up for us now suggests not only have we strengthened that ability if we decide to go through all of this work that has come up, not only have we used that ability to go within our shadows, but now we're so strong we can actually act from there. And I don't mean acting from your shadows as in acting from a place of fear or ego or separation. Rather, I mean being so healed that our shadows are now transformed into a place of strength. That's one of the most powerful things a human can do, where your shadows are so healed that they're no longer shadows, they're strengths. That's something that takes quite a bit of healing to achieve, because we don't want to fool ourselves thinking that we're at that place before we are. And I can see that as one temptation or pitfall. However, I don't see that happening to us. I see cards that have come out that have shown that we will be given correct guidance and a very keen sense of awareness and clarity to be able to gauge where we actually are within our journey at any time. So we will know when we have gained that ability. Okay, with the Scorpion card here, the Scorpion energies are passionate, competitive, and tends toward isolation. Now we are healing our separation wound within us in order to create unity and wholeness in our relationships, including ourselves. We're healing ourselves first and then seeing our work reflected outward in our relationships. However, sticking to a few close friends or having a small circle is not separation. Not if that's what you desire. Now, if you desire a very large amount of friends, then that might not be right for you. But I do want to reiterate that having a few close friends is not separation. That can be very healthy for a lot of people. Other people, it's an individual amount for each one of us. There's no correct number of friends to have. That's whatever is right for you. This energy is coming through, however, of having a select close group of friends who are very important to you. So I see that as a very positive thing, because that's not separation. That's having close friends. That's having close relationships that you consciously choose with awareness and intention. So I find that very beautiful. The caution of the Scorpion is that the Scorpion energy can sometimes focus on unresolved issues. So this does suggest to us that it may be time to come clean about our feelings, that there may be some relationships around us where we may need to, with bravery and courage, assert that our feelings have been hurt. Acknowledge that to other people if that feels right and safe for you, and that will allow everyone involved to experience healing. Next, we come up with this Buffalo card, which is why I was so grateful that I was called to leave the prayer card on top, because this is an incredibly similar energy to the prayer card. And I love this Buffalo card, and I love that it came out for us in this position. This card specifically tells us that the Buffalo energy is grounded yet heavenly, and practical yet spiritual. It sounds a lot like us balancing our energies within ourselves, right? That balancing the two forces. This is what the Buffalo card is doing in a lot of situations. And it's us healing our sense of separation and finding balance within. And also, this card specifically talks about having the buffalo's feet on the ground and its heart lifted into the air. Its heart being lifted. And that's exactly what the prayer card called us to do. Now, these are both the same, similar types of deck, the Wild Unknown. So we're getting the prayer card's animal counterpart here. So the amount of synchronicities coming out are just absolutely incredible. You think of all the cards in this deck and all the cards in the animal deck, and we have, for lack of better term, the same card coming out from two decks. It's absolute confirmation. And I love that it presents this energy to us, yet in a different way, because I feel that prayer isn't right for everybody. Now, I said that the way that this prayer card spoke to me was through surrender, but I love how this buffalo card comes out and offers us additional energies, so that it's offering a wide encompassing way for everyone to work with this energy. The beauty of the buffalo card, besides all those other beautiful things I just said, another beauty of the buffalo card is the buffalo energy sees challenges and hardships as opportunities. The buffalo is very trusting. It faces challenges through the energy of trust, which I think is beautiful. Very beautiful. Okay, next we have the shark, my daughter's favorite animal in the whole wide world. Shark energy. Shark energy talks to us of directness, exposure, revealing our true nature and our true desire. The shark cards tells us that something big needs to be exposed, and that the shark card energy, the danger of the shark card energy, only comes out if we don't look at it. A lot like shadows. If we don't look at our shadows and heal them, if we try to do all those things that we try to do to avoid them, that's when the shadow energy becomes the most damaging. So it's a similar energy. The shark card calls us to be completely honest and completely ourselves. It's a call to authenticity, to honoring and accepting all parts of ourselves. Sounds a lot like the work we are being called to do to heal our separation to me. The shark card also tells us that it is tempting to continue on as if nothing is amiss, but we feel that dangerous energy around us if we continue on like that. So this card does tell us how tempting it is to not do this work, to not look at our wounds, to not confront our fears, to not heal this separation and try to just continue on and push through it. But we know if you're here, if you're still here, you know this isn't going to work. We're here specifically to heal the separation within ourselves, to create a whole, healthy relationship with ourselves that then radiates and creates whole and healthy relationships with others. So there's a need for us to accept all parts of ourselves and to show up authentically in this world. The next and final card in our reading, and I actually am pretty glad that we have made it. We have made it to the end. Beautiful soul, we've made it all the way to the dolphin card. I could talk for hours, literally hours, about dolphins because I know quite a bit about dolphins. I will just say I have personally kayaked with wild dolphins. I actually do it somewhat regularly. I could go on and on. They are so smart. They are however smart you think they are, times it by 1,000,000. They may very well be as smart as humans, in all honesty. They are incredibly intelligent creatures. They're amazing. But this isn't about me. This is about the dolphin card. The Dolphin card says, innately intelligent, healer, light, and blessings. And the train's going by. This has been a lot of trains in this reading. When the train goes by, we highlight what we're talking about. We are talking about the healing, light, and blessings that the Dolphin card brings us. The Dolphin card is so cool, and I love that it is the last card of our reading. We could not ask for a better card to end on. This card is beyond what our minds can grasp. This energy is working at the level of spirit. The Dolphin card and the Dolphin energy is easy to underestimate the impact of the dolphin in the world. This work that we are doing today and that we will need to continue on until we have healed our separation wounds within and begin to see the change in our relationships in the world. This work has an impact in the karma for yourself and anyone you come in contact with. That's what this card says. Now think about that for a minute. This means your children, if you are someone with children, your romantic partners, your family, your friends, your acquaintances, your coworkers, the person that you see at the grocery store, the person in front of you in line at the grocery store, the person that sells you your lottery ticket, the gas station attendant, the dude at the bus stop. Just by interacting with you in any capacity, their karma is changed if you do this work. That's what this card says. I'm floored, honestly. That's insane. Anyone you talk to, anyone you send an email to, you leave a comment on social media and someone reads it, boom, they're impacted by you. This is how great this work is. I mean, we've talked about the orphan, I'm gonna cry again, but I'm not going to. We had the orphan card where this is a global phenomenon where we're all suffering from this separation wound, and we are trying to desperately ignore it and cover it up instead of healing it, and it's not working. And you are one of the brave, courageous, rare, unique, blessed individuals who is trying to go within, heal this from within yourself. Don't underestimate this. This energy, this work, the Dolphin card says, this will change your whole life in profound ways, in ways that we don't even understand yet, in ways that our human minds cannot grasp. I have chills. This is what this card says. This is the end of our reading. I have chills. This is the last card of our reading. After all this work, after all this struggle, after all this emotions, this is what we end on. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's blissful. This Dolphin card is a profound blessing. I am going to end there. If you made it through this video, leave your favorite animal emoji, whether it's from the reading or just your favorite animal. I love you very much. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe so that you're notified of future readings, and I cannot wait to see you next time.